What is going on YouTube? This is Brooksy, and today I'm just going to be doing I don't know whether it will be a quick video. Let's just see how long I can keep babbling on about it for, but I'm just going to be giving a few tips on how to get headshots easier on Black Ops 2. And the gameplay that I'm showing isn't really relevant to the video and the tips, but because I had some gameplays saved on Theatre, but because they're fixing the prestige glitch at the minute, no one can use the Theatre properly, and so I couldn't get the gameplays I wanted out today. So I've just had to find this random multi-team gameplay, which I hope you'll enjoy. So if you can just listen to me voice and have the video as kind of something to keep you going. So let's get started. I'm just going to be numbering the tips, and then as I go further into the video, I might just mention them on the fly. But tip number 1, and you might have a go at me for saying this, or you might thank me a lot because you might have been aiming at people's toes going for headshots. But the tip number 1 is obviously aim for the head. And as easy as it sounds, most people who try and get the headshots actually just try and get them as they go, and they find that they're only getting 2 to 3 headshots a game, or maybe even less than that. But if you can get into the rhythm of like aiming above waist or at least shoulder length, you'll find that you will get a lot more headshots in each game, and it will improve the speed rate on which you're getting your guns gold and stuff. So that's number 1 to think about, is aim for the head. And tip number 2 is game modes, which game modes to play. And I would recommend you don't play objective gameplays, just for the fact that people are actually going to be running for stuff throughout the game, the whole game, and which will obviously make it harder to aim for people's heads. But with that said, playing domination, the likes of that, like, they've got to sit in a certain area, haven't they? So if you can come across 2 or 3 people that's capturing a base, then you can easily pick off at least 1 headshot there. So I might be overlooking objective gameplay for now, but just with this video, I'd recommend using playing a kill type game, such as free-for-alls is probably the best, because you could actually judge the spawns on that a lot better, and people do camp a lot more on free-for-all. And team deathmatch would also be a good one, as it's the same thing with free-for-all really, but you've got a team with you. Kill confirmed, that's a maybe. I would say, yeah, you possibly do kill confirmed. That could possibly be a good game type to use. And that's it really. Ground war, if you get a team deathmatch, that could be a fast one. You could get a lot more headshots in that, because there's a few more people to kill, and the games might not be as long enough. But it's all whatever you prefer playing really, whatever you feel you can get the headshots the most in, then feel free to do so. But that's me touch on tip number 2, which is game modes. Tip number 3, I would say, this is mainly for assault rifles, or all for assault rifles. The reticle you use, this could have a real good impact on how many headshots you're able to get, and it could honestly improve the amount of headshots you get by at least 50%. And on which reticles to use, I had a little look through before on the menu, and there was like 2 or 3 that stood out, and I think I've wrote them down here, so just give me a second. Yeah, the first one, which is ironically called Steve, and it's a picture of a mustache, so it's obviously sporting Movember. Yeah, that looks like a good one you could use, because it's long and it's actually slim. So if you could aim towards the head there, you've got a wider range, and it might be easier to keep the track on it. Another one is called Peak, and that is pretty much the same as Steve, but there is no gap in the middle, and it raises into like a cone shape in the middle. But it's pretty much the same as Steve, except it's not a mustache. But you could use that for headshots as well. Another one, this is a maybe. There is a reticle called Plus, and it is a plus sign, obviously. And if you aim, you know, it's pretty much the same as a normal dot sight, but with a, you know, extended length on each corner. Another one is called Valley, and that is pretty much Steve and Peak, but built into one with a normal dot on top. So that's the intake on reticles, and you know, they could really improve your chances on getting a headshot, and I think that's one of the main, one of the most important things to use if you want to be going for headshots. And the last thing I'm going to mention is submachine guns, and I know, you know, the majority of people are using them at the minute, and they are possibly the fastest to get headshots in at the minute, so they don't really need as many tips. But I would use if you're using a, you know, a fast fire rate gun, then you might want to use a laser sight so it doesn't fly up as much. And if you like to rush, then use a laser sight and whatever second attachment you want. Maybe not a second attachment, save it for the perk. But if you're going to be hip firing, then you know, just aim towards the head and use a laser sight, and you'll find that you will easily get headshots, and you'll probably get them the majority of the time you're getting kills. So that's my submachine tip. Another one is if you're not using a fast fire rate gun, such as, you know, the PDW or something. That's probably classed as an assault rifle, as, you know, I love to use that gun and it doesn't really recoil as much, so you're probably best using a reflex sight on that, with one of the reticles that I mentioned earlier. But you shouldn't have too much trouble getting headshots with a submachine gun at the minute. So just the tips I've mentioned for that, they should be good enough to, you know, help you on your way to getting gold on submachine guns. With shotguns, I don't think I've got to say much about that. You know, if you're same with submachine guns really, except it's one shot. Snipers always go for long range kills, and I know it might seem silly to go for a longer range shot, but if you can find someone who's lying down on the floor with a sniper, then it's just easy to pick them off with a sniper from range. And I think that I've covered everything really. That's all I've got to say. Mainly my tips were for assault rifles, as most people seem to be struggling for getting headshots with them. So hopefully this video has helped, and as always, this has been Brooksy. Hope you've enjoyed, hope it's helped. If it has, leave a like. If it hasn't, don't do fuck all. Yeah, thanks for listening. This has been Brooksy. See you next time, guys.